Hello, Freeworlders. I am Sizer, the lead developer of Freeworld's Tides of War. It's been a while since our last official update, so we'll have quite a bit of ground to cover. In the last few months, a lot of the work we've been doing has been finishing work, polishing features, tidying up the mess, and tying up loose ends. As such, we've really had nothing cohesive to update you all on that you haven't heard or seen before. And honestly, that hasn't changed terribly much, but I have some things to show off and some news to mention. I'll be talking about the current graphical state of the game, the current gameplay balance concepts, hyperspace, some of the web-based functionality, and a few other minor items. So, to start off, let's take a look at an object that we've just recently revealed, the black hole. The Maw cluster has always been one of those concepts that would have been really nice to have, but fell under the category of not being able to do it justice. That is a problem no longer. The Maw and the Kessel Run will be a fully realized part of the Free World's Tides of War universe, with all of the nastiness you'd expect from a cluster of black holes, from gravitational pull to radiation bursts. Suffice it to say, these singularities are as deadly as they are beautiful, and you can thank Friendly Fire, one of our crack programmers, for all of it. Another gorgeous addition by Friendly Fire is our new nebulas. They are vastly more controllable than vanilla nebulas, and in fact share nothing in common with them. As with many things, we simply replace the system altogether. Our nebulas allow us to create a gradient transition between open space and the cloud. You'll notice that the deeper we get, the more ghostly exterior objects become. This provides a distinct and oftentimes disorienting region of space in which encounters may occur. Many other improvements have been made. Here, we see the dock system, home to Admiral Akbar, and the binary stars Daka A and B. You'll see that both stars' crepuscular rays, or god rays, properly interact with the Mon Calamari shipyard complex. All stars and planets have been replaced in a manner similar to nebulas, completely new implementations that work around Freelancer's methods of rendering. This gives us greater freedom to create subtle additions to the immersion of the game. Here we see the YouTube system, home of the powerful Hut Syndicate. You can see clearly the effects of the new star and planet systems, with beautifully rendered atmospheres and brilliant stars. Also, we've made some small improvements to the way asteroids are handled. Asteroids no longer pop into view, they instead dissolve fade in, and are much less distracting. Further, we've fitted with the way textures are handled, so emissive textures on them render and glow properly at any view distance, close or far. You will also notice that asteroids cast shadows, so fighting in asteroid fields will be deadly and immersive. You'll also notice as I zip around here that my perspective seems a little off. This is part of the new cruise system. We've completely done away with Freelancer's old fixed cruise system and added something a little more flexible. Your top cruise speed is a multiplier of your top standard speed. This means that interceptors will always be the fastest things around, and capital ships can't just putter away. Included in the new cruise is a field of view formula that adjusts your FOV the faster you go, giving you tunnel vision and increasing the sensation of speed. Another fixed vanilla feature are running lights. All lights work again and now act as dynamic lights, creating wonderfully colorful stations and ships. Now, beyond graphical improvements, many gameplay changes have been implemented. Fighters are weaker in hit points but much faster than they previously were. As talked about in an earlier video, the fighter gameplay is designed around jockeying for position and then executing a quick kill. Bombers have been broken down further into roles. Light bombers like the Y-wing of the TIE bomber have large bomb bays but are made of paper and have weak laser arrays. Assault bombers like the XG-1 are vastly more survivable, more maneuverable, and have powerful gun banks, but have smaller munitions bays. Patrol boats and assault shuttles carry massive ordnance and heavy guns but are large, slow, and take up a lot of space on carriers. Carriers themselves will be integral to the major military factions' early meta, as they provide some distinct advantages. They allow the forward deployment and respawning of fighter-sized ships based upon a commodity system. Carriers will have to stock their cargo holds with fighter hulls. Every time a player dies that is connected to a carrier, one fighter of that hull type is removed from the carrier's hold. If there are no remaining hulls of the fighter's type, the fighter respawns at the last base docked. Capital ships have not been left alone either. Firstly, the focal point of hit points has been shifted from hull to shields on capitals, allowing for drawn-out fights to sway back and forth suddenly as ships lose shields and struggle to hang on while they wait for them to rebuild or attempt to retreat. Certain capital ships have been made more distinctive. For example, the MC-80 class of ships will fill the role of fast battlecruisers, being faster than ships of even a class one step lower, with firepower focused on the forward and aft arcs but having a very limited pool of energy by comparison. This makes them ideal for hit-and-run tactics they were designed for canonically. The Empire's strike cruiser will also receive a similar treatment, getting bigger guns than its hull size would suggest, making it an ideal soloist capital hunter. Many other ships are being tweaked in a similar manner, but why spoil all the surprises now? The hyperspace system is something that we've talked about, but never really explained fully. All ships will have one type of hyperdrive or another. The basic hyperdrives will be able to jump up and down the predefined trade routes of the galaxy. This means that a ship with a Type 1 hyperdrive can jump one system over so long it is directly connected to the system they are currently in. A Type 4 hyperdrive can jump 4 systems, again provided they are all linked. The further you try to jump, the longer the calculation timer is, the longer you are a sitting duck. Beyond that, there is also the Scout drive. Scout drives can be mounted on certain ships, such as the Y-Wing or the Nebulon B, and they allow the ship to jump in a linear fashion. So long as the star system is within its range, it can jump there, connected or not. There are downsides, however. Unlike standard drives, only the ship with the drive can use the jump created by a Scout drive. So if I am flying a Nebulon B with a Scout drive and I use the Scout drive to jump, only I can use it. Furthermore, if you try to jump an extreme distance, there is introduced a margin of error that becomes more and more dangerous the further you go out. You may overshoot or undershoot your target by a few dozen kilometers or a few dozen light years. If used recklessly, one could end up in places you'd rather not be. All hyperdrives allow for the creation of in-system jumps as well, provided your course doesn't intersect with a gravity well. These can be used to supplement or avoid major trade routes. However, all functions of the hyperdrive have a shared cooldown timer, so you'll have to plan out your non-standard routes carefully, or you'll be left without a paddle for longer than you may wish. Now, these hyperdrive systems don't remove the necessity of standard in-system trade lanes and jumps. These mountable hyperdrives do have the limitations of having range limitations and cooldown limitations, and the amount of time it takes for you to calculate. So using these pre-built trade lanes will be more efficient for trade-based characters or civilians or even large military formations so long as they were in their own space. Since they're usually from high traffic areas to high point of interest areas, it is always going to be the most direct route. But you may not always want to go the most direct route because you might get shot at. So that's what these other drives are for. They allow for more tactical thinking and tactical maneuvering within a system. There will be systems in place to allow people who are using hyperdrives to be tracked. So they're not just this magic tool that will allow you to fly around and avoid every single encounter. They are limited, and using them will be risky in enemy territory. Our server-side functionality is also coming along quite nicely. The systems for handling capital construction and stockpiling assets for said construction, faction influence, and maintaining the dynamic economy are already in place, and are undergoing optimization by our resident web wizard, Qui. Also in the works for those of you interested in RP and universe lore is the Galactic News Network site. Our lore master, Dark Force, has been hard at work writing articles to help establish the universe backstory. This will become available for public consumption sometime in the near future. Now, watching this video, many of you may ask, "Hey Sizer, this looks pretty done to me." And if you're one of those who is thinking that, then you'd be absolutely correct. We are so very close to being able to give you all something to play with. So just bear with me for a moment. I'm not announcing a release date just quite yet. I honestly don't see anything stopping FW ToW from happening this year, but I'd really hate it if something did and we disappointed you all for a third time. So instead, I'm gonna have to be vague yet again and say possibly, probably, in a more than likely sense, sometime within the next few months before the end of 2013, maybe. Now, to further put a damper on things, our first release will not be a final by any means. Our plan is such. The first few weeks of release will be an open pre-beta. We'll be mashing out any compatibility issues and dumb bugs that crop up when you hit mass consumption. There will be no metagame during this period, but we will be fostering the establishment of all the major faction hierarchies during this time. Following that first period will be our shakedown cruise. We'll be turning on all of the advanced features one at a time and doing a battery of community tests on them to ensure that they work the way we planned and that they are stable. After this first run, we'll then do another week or two of final cleanup work, and then we'll kick off the metagame. During this beta period, we'll be building our administration, lore, and faction leadership teams from the community, so if you have any interest in these roles, now would be the time to start seriously considering them. Well, that's about all I have for you today, folks. Universe willing, I'll have something to give you all very soon. I thank you all for your continued support and patience. Good luck, and may the Force be with you all.